Michael Irvin is stopping by, my favorite person to see. Marshall Falk's going to hear me say that, and I'm going to get a text any second saying, I thought I was your favorite, but Michael, you are my daughter's godfather, so maybe you're my favorite. Sorry, Marshall. How are you? Great to have you by.
It is so great to speak with you, Suzy, to speak with you guys here on my guys' show, the Rich Eisen Show. And you got, and Marshall knows, Suzy, Marshall knows that you're like the mother of all of us, and you love all of us with a different kind of love. And I just happen to be that kid that needs the most motherly love.
That's right.
It. You know what I mean? I'm happy to be that kid, so he understands that.
He does. There's. I was going to say there's enough for me to go around, but then again, in L.A., that could have a very negative connotation. Michael, what do you think's happening in Chicago? What's your take on the Caleb Williams story that Seth Wickersham put out yesterday?
Well, talking about the film and nobody's studying film with them and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. First of all, there's so many things in that story that kind of trips me out. You know, like back in the day, we lived in film rooms, and it was okay to stay in film rooms. It was okay to practice all the time. But now everybody and all of the PAs, they're limiting practice time. Now, I'm sure Caleb's been meeting with coaches during the sessions, like we have sessions, installments, and all of those things. But I imagine what he's talking about is all of that extra time. He should always be meeting with the coach. He should be living with that offensive coordinator. No matter what he does, those two should be together. And I'm sure that's what he's talking about now. Now that he sees the kind of time he's putting in with Ben Johnson, he's like, wow, this is what it's supposed to be like. Oh, my God. Because everything, the Noah Turners and Troy Aikmans, when I was in college, the Gary Stevenson and Vinny Testaverde, when they walked, the right leg moved at the same time and the left leg moved at the same time. That's how much time they spent together. When you saw them walking together, they were really marching.
Yeah, I just couldn't think about that again without more, couldn't be more flummoxed. Guys have to have so much film review. And to think of the wasted opportunity for a number one pick, somebody that came in that they thought could be effective immediately, turning around a program like this, and to leave him on his own. His father, Caleb Williams' father, was quoted as saying, Chicago is where quarterbacks go to die.
Yeah, but listen, any quarterback comes in the league and then go lockstep with his offensive coordinator is going to die. That's his point, period. There's no getting around it. And it's different. I don't have to be lockstep with my coach, even though I was, receivers and DBs, things like that. You can go off and focus and watch film by yourself and get studied by yourself. But the coach, and especially the offensive coordinator, who's ever calling the plays, and the quarterback, they have to live together. That's just it. They got to make sure that they have one brain when they are seeing things on the football field, and they got to see it together. So they have to literally live together.
Do you believe that this story will have ramifications moving forward now that we know that his father was so vocal, there were so many concerns? Like, how do you think this will change anything in the National Football League?
Well, Suzy, like all of life, we got great people, and we got some people that are not so great at what they're doing. And then we got, since this is a physical sport, but it requires all your emotions, everything, you got all these feelings involved. Some people are better at it than others. And the people that aren't so good at it, you see them bouncing around the NFL, and the people that are great, you see them position themselves in the NFL. It's as much as it is about football, it's about understanding personalities and understanding people and making sure that you're giving them what they need to succeed. If you are an offensive coordinator, especially a young quarterback, this is what you have to be looking for.
Think about these things. Yep, let's talk about another young quarterback, Michael Irvin, here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's talk about another guy, Cam Ward, your guy in with the Titans. What do you expect to see from him this year?
Well, first of all, real disappointed in the NFL to give Tennessee Titans no prime-time games when the Tennessee Titans have the number one pick in the National Football League in the NFL draft. I don't think they've done that too often through the history, not giving him one of the weeks of the 17 weeks to showcase in prime time the number one pick. Of course, I'm taking that personally because in that primetime game, the game that he has all by himself, a standalone game, we would be talking about the U. And I'm going to tell you something. This kid, I told him, Suzy, I told him, and I tell him all the time, I said, man, I just so appreciate you and what you've done for us. I thank you because remember the years we used to have Miami quarterbacks going first all the time back in my years. And then we had such a big drop. Cam Ward put us back on the map. Now we can go to the Carson Becks or the young kids that are in their homes when we talk to their parents and say, you can come be the next Cam Ward at the University of Miami. You know, you can't, the Vinny Testaverde and Bernie Kosar stuff, that had worn out. We couldn't use that no more. It was too long ago. But Cam gave us some new stuff. And Cam turns around and then brings in Xavier Restrepo, his receiver. Dude, I think they're going to have a great year together in Tennessee. He reminds me of the Steve McNair time. That's when Tennessee really hit that rise, and I believe they're about to hit another rise because he's a hell of a leader.
What were your thoughts watching Shedeur Sanders during the draft, and how do you see things working out for him this year?
There's a thing called homiletics, teaching and preaching. It means you use one letter to bring the subject, to bring all the subjects. I was both, pissed and then pleased. You know what I'm saying? Because I know how hard he pursued that dream. You know, how hard he talked about wanting to be drafted higher than his dad. It was one of the things that made him work. And how badly he wanted to go play in the NFL. There were times he was like, him and his brother, look, can we talk to you about talking to my dad to let us go to the NFL? I said, keep me out of that. Keep me out of that. Better do you. You know, don't put me in that. Don't put me, you know. So we would laugh about that. But so to see him punish him like that and go through what he went through, that was painful for me. Honestly, Suzy, think about this. And we talked about this on our show, and I said, I don't know if it's some conspiracy, but I can say it this way. I have never seen anyone that has had his kind of success in college put up the kind of numbers that he put up in college and drop to the fifth round. You want to tell me he's not a first rounder? You know, that's a thin line. I absolutely believe he's a first rounder. And here's the thing you heard people say. Oh, well, you know, he doesn't have the strongest arm and he doesn't run real fast. Eli Manning doesn't have the strongest arm and he doesn't run real fast. And he was the first pick in the draft. In the GOAT of all GOATs, God knows he doesn't have the strongest arm. And God really knows he can't run at all. You know what I'm saying? That's Tom Brady. So what we need to learn is, physical capabilities are important, but your ability to play it in big moments and in big time games and make those big plays are the most important thing. And that's playing football shoulders up. And that's what I saw in Shedeur all the years of watching. And now he'll get a chance to do. I thought he'll have a different approach coming into the NFL because everywhere he's gone, he had to work his way up from the bottom. All they did by doing this, even though it was painful to watch him drop, I was pleased with how he handled it. They gave him that same start again. He'll start from the bottom and climb his way up, and he'll make it work. I can't wait. What if he wins the starting job this year? Well, I mean, then what is everybody going to say? Mm-hmm. Cleveland was brilliant, or was the rest of us smart-ass dummies, and we missed it?
Yeah, because he basically has had a great minicamp. In early May, he was out there competing, and we all know that it's Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and himself as Deshaun Watson rehabs. But even so, you're absolutely right. I mean, is this another one, like Colleen, you can jump in if you want, but like, I think it's just an interesting question. Will they look brilliant or will they just look lucky?
Yes, will Cleveland look brilliant? I think that is something that could actually happen. No one has ever said that, ever, in the history of Cleveland. Irv, I miss you. Hi, great to see you. I have so many questions for you, and I don't know how much time we have with you, but I wanted to ask you about Brian Schottenheimer and...
Wait, Colleen, how you gonna sit over there that long and not say anything?
I was just waiting. This is my first time on the show.
I share the spotlight.
Listen, I'm just here for vibes, and I will tap in, tap out. However, I do want to ask you about Brian Schottenheimer and then also Tyler Booker going up against Jalen Carter and then DeMarcus Lawrence to start his NFL career. But before we get to any of that, I know that you told me when we used to do Thursday Night Football together that you would take every offseason to learn something new, to expand your horizons about something. What is this year's topic?
Well, actually, this year I've really gone deep into trying to get health, talking about health and doing my health. I went the other day and got that blood oil transfusion thing.
What
where they
is
take
that?
blood out of and it's called EBU. They take your blood out of one arm, and it goes through this machine. I don't know why I'm giving all this promo, but it's good, it's so good. And they put the blood back in you. Your blood goes back in you. They spin it, right? They clean it. Oh, my God. I don't even know what was in that tube. You know what I mean?
I feel like you should probably have known what was in that tube.
Coming out. Right. And that's what I was saying. Oh, my God, this is what I've been doing in my blood. What is that? What is that? You know what I mean? And I'm glad you asked me that, because I want to encourage. I'm seeing a lot of my very good friends, deal with, prostate cancer and situations and problems. And it is scary. It's scary. So I've been diving into all of this health stuff at the cellular level. And that's why I'm trying to jump into that stuff. I tell my business partner and my friends the other day, I am trying to get every bit of my time.
That's right.
And every dime out of this body before I leave.
You're doing a good job.
Yeah, I will get it.
Couple more questions before we have to say goodbye to Michael Irvin. Dallas and Eagles. That game is just staring at me on this schedule grid. What are your thoughts on that as we look ahead to the season?
Man, I love what they have done here. Even though I hated how they did Tennessee in the schedule release, the Cowboys, they showed you, even coming off a 7-10 record, back you down. We still the machine that we are. That schedule shows you that Kansas City is very important. And Kansas City also, because I saw the other day, Suzy, they were saying it's Kansas City, the new America's team now, And Colleen, we've had that question a million times on the show, Colleen. I get it all the time. And the schedule shows me everything, because the schedule says Kansas City, Dallas, and the Commanders. They gave them all the big-time games. But Dallas and Kansas City, they gave the two biggest games. Kansas City was in the Super Bowl last year. Dallas was 7-10. And you know what? We still got more eyes than them all.
Who won that game?
In Kansas City, they're not just winning championship. They got the All-American girl on there with them. And I love them. I love Travis Kelce. That's my favorite player in the whole National Football League. I love him more than anything. And they got everything. And that's why I wasn't worried about New England taking over the American moniker, America's team moniker, because you can't become America's team when your head coach is the conundrum. That guy, Belichick. But Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, everybody loves all of them. I was worried.
Oh my God, we're gonna get him a jersey.
I know.
It might burn on your body, but we might get you a jersey. Can we get you to play the win-loss game, the Cowboys win-loss game? Can we go through the season? We'll just a quick one.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
Let's
go
do it.
that.
We got music? You ready, RJ? This is very exciting. All right, here we go, guys. This is my favorite time of year. This is like Christmas for me. I love these. You ready, RJ? You got music? Little NFL films? All right, here we go. Week 1 at Philadelphia.
Let me give you something. Week 1, Dallas wins at Philadelphia. Philadelphia is getting pat on the back.
Wow.
Let me pat on the
Off
back.
to a rough
Saying,
start.
good job last year. Good job last year. Good job last year. Getting pat on the back. And Dallas, with a new head coach, focuses in, new players. They get down to the little the little things, knocking them down, and they win that game. That's going to be the opener Thursday night. That's going to send everybody crazy.
Fantastic. Week 2, Giants visiting.
Come on, come on. You know.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, we know that. Okay. Week 3 at Chicago.
That's going to be a very good game because Ben Johnson's going to try to put in a lot of things. But Dallas will win because it's early on. I would worry about that game later on as Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson gets more of a relationship. But Dallas wins earlier.
Week 4, Green Bay at home.
The game's in Dallas?
Mm-hmm.
That'll be their first loss.
Ooh. Week 5. Week 5 first loss for Green Bay. Okay.
Yeah, Green Bay.
Okay, week 5 at the Jets. Loss, right?
Oh, come on. Yeah.
I mean, that's a win. That's a win. What do you think? Is that a win?
Yeah, that'd be the Jets. They'll just to feel, they'll beat the Jets. They'll beat the Jets.
Okay, week 6 at Carolina.
They'll beat Carolina.
Week 7, Washington.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Careful.
That's a great one. Trap game.
That game in Washington or in Dallas?
No, that's in Dallas.
Oh, we'll win that game in Dallas.
Ooh. All right.
The Christmas game I'm worried about. They're coming back at Christmas.
Yeah, week 8 at Denver.
That means secondary.
I think they get Denver. They get Denver. It's been a tough game, though. Denver will be a tough game. Coach to coach.
So what are you taking?
So they win?
I'm taking Denver. I'm taking Dallas.
Okay.
I'm taking Dallas.
The air is not that thin. Week 9, home for Arizona.
You'll beat Arizona. You'll be there.
Week 10
I'm telling you, we got a good season going. If these guys are going to come together, I just see this. And Colleen, you asked me about Tyler Booker. I love that draft pick. I love everything they've done in the draft. And then adding on George Pickens. That's why I'm real high on what they're doing right now.
You
have them
8-1 right now.
Right, I know, and that's why it's a good start.
Okay.
And everybody's talking about they have a start. Now the end of this season is going to be tough. They got a tough schedule ending. A lot of tight games.
Yeah, speaking of insane odds, the next one's at Las Vegas, week 11.
We'll be out there and we'll win. You can take those odds all the way to Las Vegas. We will win.
We'll win at Las Vegas. Okay, that's a Monday night game. Week 12, home for Philly.
Now that's one we'll lose that game.
Okay. Week 13, your boys, the Chiefs, at home for the Chiefs. That's Thanksgiving.
We'll lose that game.
Mm-hmm. Week 14, at Detroit. What's the asterisk for, Mike? I don't even know. Primetime game. All right, primetime game at Detroit. Thursday nighter?
So, people going to trip here, boy. It's going to be hard. After you lose 2 in a row, everybody starts flipping.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it'll be pressure, and then Dallas will lose 3 in a row here.
Ooh, so you're saying week 15, Minnesota lost?
No, Dallas will beat Minnesota week 15.
Okay, all right.
They'll come off that 3-game slide.
Oh, yeah,
They'll have 4 losing games, 4 games. They'll come back and win. They'll come back and beat Minnesota.
Week 16, home for the Chargers.
They'll beat the Chargers. Now, that Christmas game, go ahead on. They'll beat the Chargers.
Okay. All right. Week 17, at Washington.
The Christmas game.
That's the Christmas game right there? Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's the game. And that's what I have in the schedule. I have those losses, but look at those days of those losses, the Thanksgiving, the Christmas. I mean, it's bad.
Everybody's watching those.
The bad holidays. Well, but I think they will lose that game, too.
Bad Santa makes a return. Week 18, at the New York Giants.
We win.
Who did the math?
12-5.
Wow.
12-5. 12-5. Now let me tell you. Let me make sense on that. The 3 years prior to last year, they went 12-5 each of those years. In those years, one year I think it was like 30 points a game. They averaged 28, and another one like 27-5 or something like that. It was about 28 points if you average it out, 28 points. Last year, they dropped down to 20 points a game. I said they needed to go and focus on one side of the ball. Don't worry about trying to fill in all the holes. You focus on one side of the ball, which is the offense, the correct side of the ball, the offense. You put somebody else with CeeDee Lamb, which you did with Pickens. You picked up a Tyler Booker, the right kind of attitude to build an offense like you had with when we had that stellar offense with Tyron Smith and all of those guys, Travis Frederick and Frank Martin and all of those guys. Zach Martin. Now you back on top, putting up 27, 28, 30 points a game. That'll get you right back to that 12-5. You see how that worked out? I'm not just throwing this out. I have thought this out, and I'm giving it out to you.
You are generous. Michael Irvin, we love you. Thanks for stopping by.
Bye, Irv.
You two up there, I love very dearly. And I'm going to tell you something, too, Suzy. It was so great working with Colleen because she was, she was taking over for Rich and stuff on Thursday night. And it was a big job over there with all the guys we have. And Colleen has to get us in and out of breaks. And we ain't following no rules. We're just talking.
No.
And we're going. And Colleen had to grab, guys. I would have to, after the show, say, that was a great job, grabbing power, getting your power, and getting us to the next block. I said, good job. I'll text her and tell her, good job. But don't let Steve or none of these guys mess with you. So she's always done a great job. I appreciate working with her. I love you guys.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.